Good morning, good afternoon. I'm Carlos Mejia, speaking from Colombia and sharing with you from 35 plus years of experience some ideas around this first model of your learning journey today to rethink disaster management in a complex world. This is something that is not just necessary, but it is an urgent imperative. It is a radical act of responsibility that requires the capacity of self-criticism and critical thinking, acknowledging that despite numerous attempts to transform the humanitarian global architecture, the system is still failing. We need to think the complexities of the world, because only in this way we can be effective in addressing all the issues in a way that we can reduce risk without acting late or waiting only to be reactive. Rethinking the system implied an engagement for profound transformation, and it starts from each one of us as well. So we need to be free of egos, fears, ideologies, of any patterns that perpetuate the politicization and instrumentalization of aid. Being a humanitarian worker on today's world, without radically reimagining who we are and how we act, risks simply the prolongation of a broken system that, despite the good intentions and well-crafted narratives, continues to harm, enclosing its own comfort zone and becoming expensive, slow, and inefficient. So let me share with you today some ideas that can be helpful for this discussion about this need to rethink the disaster management system. First of all, a comprehensive perspective from linear to ecosystemic thinking is needed. It is about a holistic, causal, and intersectional and interdependent approach when looking at the reality, understanding root causes beyond just symptoms. Analyzing links with peace, rights, fiscal, gender, and environmental inequalities, political system failures, and the connection with development, always integrated with risk and resilience. Second, localization, putting people always at the center, ending the hegemony exercised by many actors that are marked by arrogance, resource concentration, and parachuting mentality. So stop thinking that we know what people need without asking them, without connecting with them, and recognizing that people and communities are not just passive victims, but have knowledge, networks, and resilience. So we can design interventions that are locally relevant and inclusive, and recognize that communities are the first responders. So we can approach them with humility, not to lead, but to be engaged in co-creating solutions and asking questions that enabling them to make the best decision. Then establishing rules for transparency and accountability, and very much changing the rules for funding, which implied a shift in donors' mindset and practices. 3, decolonizing the humanitarian system, which is nothing more than ending inequalities in relationships, decision-making process, and resource allocation. So we can look to the substance of the system and not just superficial forms. 4, direct, flexible, and sustained funding. Funding based on impact, supporting and strengthening local actors, avoiding power abuse and that perpetuates colonial patterns, ensuring a robust accountability system without undermining local autonomy, and making a deep emphasis on learning to move forward beyond inflexible plans. 5, ethically integrate technological and digital advance, using technology with safety and to increase inclusion and rights. And finally, restoring legitimacy through action, earning legitimacy through transparent, participatory, and effective humanitarian practice, and collaborating across actors, all of them, so we can all become working around one common agenda. So if you are here and this is what you would like to do, I invite you to embrace the journey ahead of you and embrace the challenges with passion and intelligence, openness and imagination. And never forget to do it always from the place of the victims. Enjoy the journey, and I will see you next time.